Street culture to me is like the mixing pot of, like hip hop, skateboarding, punk rock, and sport. Like all of that together is street culture. Street culture has now risen above that creation, and everyone can enjoy that creation without understanding what goes into it. So that's what's happening now. Everyone says like, I love street culture, but they don't understand the ingredients of where it came from.
TaLKs.
My name is Jeff Staple. I'm the founder of Staple Design, Staple Pigeon, Read Space, Business of Hype, podcasts, and welcome to my office. Officially, when I started my career was 1997. So Staple was started in 97. It's over 20 years old now. Probably one of the oldest original streetwear brands that's still operational today. I started from when I was, like a kid, like 6 years old, because if I didn't love sneakers and sports and music back then I wouldn't have been able to start Staple in 97. So I've been kind of into the culture even before the culture began. I was already sort of like researching it in my own childhood. Girl that I used to be childhood friends with that I lost touch with for like 30 years just recently DM'd me on Instagram. She's like, I remember when we were at these family dinners, you would be on the placemat. She's like, you would be designing logos for fake restaurants that you were inventing. So you would invent the restaurant and then make the logo for the restaurant. And she's like, I thought that was so weird back then when we were little kids, but now you're like doing it.
It's like a natural thing.
Yeah, it's like a natural thing, So like, I didn't even remember that, but it was cool to hear that story because I think I've always had that sort of creativity. The other thing that I used to do that was really weird was like, I was really into comic books, X-Men, Spider-Man, all that stuff, Fantastic Four. But what I would do is I would make my own new X-Men. I was like creating the business, a developer, and then making the branding for it. But I've always been infatuated by brands. I've always loved brands, whether it's Marvel or Nike or Apple or Sports Illustrated, whatever, And then the other thing I think that was really different about me as a kid was that I was super OCD. I would do this with my pencils when I was a kid, right? Like I put them on the table like that, right? And I would know if someone touched my pencils. If the logo wasn't facing up, I would know someone fucked with my shit. And I think while that's unhealthy and a little bit crazy, but I think when you start like designing stuff, like you look at those every little detail, because if you don't care about those little details, it's very easy for the brand to become like all over the place. Yeah, the meaning of your brand actually comes down to kerning. Kerning is when you adjust the letters, the space in between letters. And the reason why great brands come from great kerning is because if you care about that, you care about everything else. I wake up usually around 7 or 8, and unfortunately, I do check my phone first. I have to. I hate that, but I have to. I just check for urgent stuff, and if there's something really urgent, I will fire it back right then. I have a big thing of water, like this big, and I try to drink one before I even go to the bathroom. Then I go to the bathroom, and then I make coffee. And I make my coffee very methodically, then walk my dog, I have a dog, and then I'll take a shower. Or 3 times a week I go to the gym, and then so the gym will come before the shower. And it's very I know this is too much information, but I always do a number 2, you know what I mean? Yeah, every morning I do a number 2, and this the coffee and the water activates the number 2. You should be doing number 2, that's my streetwear advice. So I set my alarm 3 hours before my first appointment. So operating a streetwear brand comes with its own set of challenges where you're just trying to make a business, profitable and functional. And then when you become somewhat of a celebrity and famous, it's kind of weird because I didn't plan to be a celebrity. It's not like I wanted to be an actor or Hollywood and I want to be famous. I didn't want to be famous. I just worked. And then the fame and celebrity started to just happen. These are things that you just have to deal with and you don't realize it. When I go to work now, people stop me on the street to take a photo. So now I have to think about what I'm wearing and I have to go to the gym now, or like it starts to get into your head, you know, it's kind of strange. And I've talked to other friends who are similar, like they have businesses, but they're becoming a celebrity and famous. I feel like you go through phases. It's almost like Alcoholics Anonymous, where like you go through like these typical phases where like, fuck the fame. I don't care what they think. I'm just gonna do me. Like, I'm gonna post pictures of my kids on Instagram. I don't care. I'm gonna post my mother, my grandmother. And then a comment says like, yo, your kids are ugly. Your mom is fucking whack. It's like, oh my God, I can't put my kids on. Okay, then you go through the next phase, which is like, I'm not putting my kids, I'm gonna make a personal account. And it's gonna be private, right? So you go through that phase, you know? So I've gone through the, I'm gonna mix business and personal. Then I've gone through the, I'm gonna separate it. And then now I finally am at the stage right now where I've just accepted that it is together. People wanna know what's going on in my life. And I also know that this is like a drug. Like when you start exposing a little bit of yourself to people, they wanna know everything. One of the things that I try to do is really control the filter in how much I open up to, you know, like to the people. Yeah. Like I think that's really important for someone in my position. It doesn't matter how weird you think your profession might be. If you love it, just do that and you will figure out a way to make money. You know Jason Mark?
Yeah, sure.
He is passionate about cleaning sneakers. And he fucking made a business. Who knew that you could just make water, purple towels, and you make $1 million business out of that, right? Many people think like you have to be lucky in order to do that. And I think luck is actually about keeping yourself open to opportunities. And then you look lucky, whether that means going out to parties, whether that means networking, whether that means replying to everyone in your comments and DMs. Like there's different ways of opening yourself up and you never know. The thing is you can't plan that stuff, you know? I talk to everyone, I give everyone their 5 minutes and the most random opportunities, like I will sit down with someone and all of a sudden it becomes the next big thing, you know? So it's like, so I think if you add the passion with the opportunity, you look lucky, that's like a sort of secret formula of like how to be successful. I'm really blessed. People and organizations and brands that we're able to work with, it's like if you go to stapledesign.com and you look at our roster of brands, it's like a telephone book of brands, you know? And I can die tomorrow and I'd be super fine. I'd be like so happy. Like if the doctor said, Jeff, you have 24 hours to live, I'd be like, okay, cool.